Well, good morning, everyone. I am Jeff Rhodes. I'm sorry I can't be there with you today. I will be the instructor for the course. But today I actually find myself down in Charlotte, North Carolina, attending a mechanical engineering conference that I committed to some 2 or 3 years ago. To be honest, you were probably still in high school. And so I really need to be here today to give a few talks on some of the exciting research we're doing. And I'm also giving an important talk here to work with young faculty to try to set them up for their faculty careers. And so it was really important that I be here today. But rest assured, once I return to West Lafayette on Thursday, I won't be going anywhere for a while. So you'll get probably sick of me over time, but I'm sorry I can't be there today. Though I can't be there with you today, I did leave you in able hands. So Professor Krausgirl's there in the room, and he's certainly one of the most decorated teachers on campus. And I'm so sure would be happy to help you out in person with any issues that arise before I return to West Lafayette. Or, of course, you're welcome to email me in that interim period as well. So I thought I'd start today by just giving you a very quick background on myself, and then we'll dive into the handouts, the 4 handouts that are coming around the room. And once we've done that, we'll take a tour of the course website, do a little bit of an intermission there, so some of the folks in the room can tell you about some things that are really exciting and going on with the class this semester. And then I'll go ahead and take the reins back, and we can talk about some of the technical topics associated with dynamics. So just by way of intro, I've been at Purdue about 10 years now. I'm a full professor in the department. I work actually in the area of dynamics and vibration. And in fact, probably bring in over the course of the semester a few things related to research as well. But it's a topic I'm super passionate about, and actually a topic that myself and Professor Krausgirl and some of the other folks in the room this weekend, and I should say this week, do research on, including academic research. So I think it's a super exciting semester for us. And I really look forward to helping you learn to understand this really fundamental engineering topic, which if you're a mechanical engineer, biomedical engineer, nuclear engineer, whatever background you have, this will really be a topic that you use on a daily basis throughout your career. And so it's super important that we create this really strong foundation where you can use the tools and techniques that I introduce here today in your career and are really comfortable using those. So as I said, to start today, I really want to just go over the 4 handouts that are coming around. You should have 4 different pieces of paper, 2 of which are two-sided, maybe 3 of which are two-sided now that I think about it. And so if you can go ahead and pull those out, we'll go over them together as a group. So I'm going to switch here to the course blog, and you'll notice I'm going to do this because all of the documents that we're going to discuss this morning are actually located on this blog. And this course blog basically has everything that you're going to need over the course of the semester. So we'll post homeworks here. You can submit homeworks through this. We'll give you exam preparation materials here. There'll be homework solutions, lecture example videos. We'll talk about all that a little later. But everything that you're going to need can be found right here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on my face so that you can see me down here in the corner of the screen. So I'll just give you a little something to look at there. Okay, so to go over those handouts are going to be located under the Course Information tab on the blog or the course website. And you can follow along there or on the handouts you have in class. If you happen to lose them, you can certainly print off other ones here. And I'm going to start by going over the Course Information page, which is that first link there. And as soon as this opens, what you'll see is this is just a general overview of the class. And I just want to point out a few things to you here. So we do have 2 sections this semester. I will be teaching one of them. Professor Arietta will be teaching the other. If you've already found the place and are there this morning, you know the time and location, so we don't need to worry about that. In terms of office hours, I'm actually going to hold them both Monday and Wednesday immediately after class, and those will be located in my mechanical engineering office, which is room ME3061N. If you're in the older part of the building, just head up to the 3rd floor. If you take a left at the top of the stairs, I'll be at the end there on the left, and I'm kind of tucked back in the corner, but you can't miss me in there. If you want to get a hold of me and it's outside of class or room or office hours, the best way to do that's probably email. I do like to maintain an open door policy as much as possible, so you're welcome to stop by and ask questions anytime as long as the door is open. But if you want to set up a special appointment and make sure that I'm going to be there, email is the best way to get in touch. I do list my phone number here, but I must be honest, I rarely answer it anymore because I'm rarely sitting still in the office, but certainly you're welcome to try to contact me that way as well. This semester, we will be continuing to use the lecture book that I co-wrote with Professor Krausgirl a few years back. And this book is available at the University Bookstore, and the University Bookstore only, actually, because we try to drive costs down by keeping it there. You can think of the lecture book as kind of like the workbooks that you used in elementary school and even maybe junior high. In that it's a living document that we're going to write in over the course of the semester. And so even though it's not a complete textbook today, By the time you leave ME274, it will be a complete reference which you can stick on your shelf. In fact, I'd recommend keeping it so that you can refer to dynamics problems over time. And we'll go ahead and pull that out here in a few minutes as we start our technical discussion today of particle kinematics. But for now, I'll just mention that you can buy it there. I would definitely have that in hand by probably Friday's lecture if you don't have it already. And do make sure you buy it quickly because there is a limited number of them available at the bookstore. The course blog or the course website can be found at an easy-to-remember address. It's purdue.edu/dynamics. That's the site that we were just on a few minutes ago, and we'll be going back to here momentarily. But please look at that. Try to drop by every day or two and use it to the best of your ability. The grade in this class is fairly student-friendly. We are going to work you fairly hard over the course of the semester. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think in a way that when we do assessment is fairly friendly towards students. So the grade consists of 5 components. The first component I'd like to point out is homework. We will have homework assignments assigned and due almost every day. Much like in statics, what we'll typically do is assign 2 problems for each class period. We'll collect those using a technique I'll talk about shortly, prior to the start of the next class period. And we'll actually retune those to you electronically as well using, again, a tool we'll talk about here shortly. Homework makes up 17% of your grade, so it's really essential that you stick on that through the semester. Ask questions if you have them, and make sure that you don't let that part of your grade slip away. I really like quizzes, let me say that from the onset, and I use quizzes for a different reason than homework. Quizzes, in my mind, are a great way to test on fundamentals, on theories, on concepts. And one of the things I want you to leave this class with is an understanding of concepts as well as just problem-solving ability. So we're going to do a ton of quizzes, probably do somewhere around 10, 15 of them throughout the semester. A lot of them will be group quizzes where you can work in small groups. A lot of them will be short answer, multiple choice. Quizzes aren't necessarily made to be a difficult or assessment in any way, shape, or form, but actually just try to get you to think deeper about what we're learning in class and encourage you to understand the underlying concepts more than just problem-solving ability. You need both of those sets of skills to succeed as an engineer, and I want to make sure you have both before you leave ME274. 3% of your grade will be the easiest 3% that you can ever get, and that'll come from what we call the fundamentals exam. As I mentioned at the onset of this video, we do a lot of research surrounding ME274. In fact, it may be the most researched engineering class on the planet, whereas we partner with engineering education and mechanical engineering to try to understand what allows students to be really successful in learning dynamics and what changes, etc., can we make to make sure that our students do the best possible job they can before they leave Purdue Mechanical Engineering. And so to help us with that assessment, we're going to take a fundamentals exam on Wednesday. In fact, it'll take all of the hour on Wednesday. And simply taking that exam will allow you to recover 3% of your grade. It's not a graded exam. It's only used as a baseline for us for research studies. And so, again, that'll be kind of a short answer, multiple choice type test. It doesn't matter if you get them all right or all wrong. You get the 3% either way as long as you take it. And it also will have some survey questions near the end that just kind of ask you about your approach to education and approach to learning. And again, that'll be super helpful for us as we continue to study this class. This class does have exams. It actually will have 4 exams, 3 midterms and a final. And whether those exams are weighted 25% of your grade or 50% of your grade will simply be a function of what you do better on. So if you do better on the composite of the 3 midterms than on the final exam, those 3 midterms will be counted for 50% of your grade, and the final exam will count towards 25%. If you do better on the final rather than on the midterms, we'll reverse that so that the weight's on whatever you do better on. I'm a strong believer that I don't care if you learn the material as we teach it in class or you learn it very quickly before the end. Either way is fine with me. The key thing is that you learn the material, and so we do this as a way to allow you to cater towards your learning style, whatever it is, whether it's kind of the slow and steady approach or whether it's the, I don't want to say cram, but the approach where you really focus and given periods of time to make sure you understand what's going on. We will be using the plus-minus system to grade this class, and we'll use a straight scale for the most part. If we deviate from the straight scale, basically we'll only do so in the student's favor. So if I change the scale, it'll only be done to help your grades. It would never make them worse than they would be on a straight scale. I should note that I'm also very happy to regrade assignments upon request if you're not comfortable with the grade you received and think perhaps the mistake's on my end versus yours. And if you do that, I simply ask that you recognize that regrading could result in an increase in your grade, a decrease in your grade, or what happens most commonly, no change, and that if you want to request a regrade, that you should do so in writing. As we continue down the sheet here, let's talk a little bit about academic integrity. Academic integrity is something I take super seriously. I hope all of you are aware that Purdue has a code of conduct for its students, and I've linked it here on the first page. And then I think you should know that in addition to the school in general and the College of Engineering in general, I take academic integrity super seriously. To be honest with you, I prosecute through the Office of the Dean of Students all cases of cheating that I find, and I encourage severe penalties for that, because I think it's super important as a practicing engineer that we maintain the highest ethics for what we do. If you're using dynamics, that means you're probably using a system that people's lives are going to be associated with, whether that's airplanes, automobiles, bridges, etc. And it's super important to me that you truly understand all the details of these things. So don't cut corners. Really make sure you understand these topics, because quite literally, people's lives may be on the line. So you should just know that I take these cases seriously. I typically don't give warnings. If I catch it, we turn it in. I don't like to deal with that, so I hand it over to the Dean of Students offices to prosecute as they see fit. I should note that in many cases, if you're caught cheating, it's going to lead to zeros on assignments, perhaps expulsion from the class, and in many cases, even expulsion from the university. So I hate to be a naysayer here on the first day of class, but really I'm just encouraging you to do your own work, and when you work with others, make sure it's done in an appropriate fashion, so that we don't have to deal with any of those nasty things associated with academic dishonesty. Alright, let's move on towards more positive things. Just a few notes about the class here in the right-hand column. First of all, and I know this is hard for me to say since I'm not currently there with you today, but I really do encourage you to attend every class. This class is one that I think is fairly well liked by students. It's a class where you learn a lot of super important things, and so it's important to me that you're there. I'm going to do my darndest to be there starting Friday when I have no longer a commitment to someone else, and I'll be there every day from there on out, with maybe one little exception near the end. My wife's currently pregnant with twins, and so when those little guys arrive, I may have to step out for a day to see my two children into the world, so hopefully you don't mind with that. We are going to use a new tool this semester, which I'm super excited about, and that's a tool called Gradescope. And Gradescope is basically a tool that allows us to submit homeworks electronically, to grade exams and grade homeworks electronically, and get them back to you in the fastest possible format. In a few minutes here, you're going to hear a presentation from a few of our fellow instructors and graduate assistants about how to use Gradescope. And we're going to actually have a little homework zero assignment where you can send me a picture of yourself, your name, maybe a little bit of information about where you're from, and maybe even some fun facts as just a trial for you to get used to using Gradescope. It will be a graded assignment, but it should be easy for you to complete. The really cool thing about Gradescope is that instructors and graders and TAs can grade a lot faster than we can using traditional pen and paper. And that's really just due to some electronic and tools that are enabled on the backside. And because of that, I can get the assignments back to you a lot sooner than I ever could before. Also of interest is the assignments will come back to you via email with feedback written on them. And so we don't have to handle a bunch of papers in class. Really, all you're going to have to do is scan them in to me, submit them via email or via upload tool, and you'll get them back. It should be, I think, a really exciting tool and hopefully one that works well. Just as we continue to move down the list here, as you'll notice, this is an example-driven class, so we won't spend a lot of time with really long, monotonous talks. This will probably be the longest nonstop of me talking during the semester, so we'll get that over with on the first day. But we're going to do a lot of example problems, and if you can't, or miss a day, or you can't attend, or you're not quite sure you understood what happened and you want to see them again, I've recorded, or Professor Krauscroller has recorded, every single example that's in that lecture book there, and it's freely available on the course blog. And so we'll do that, look at those when we take a tour here in a minute, but know that they're there and that you can use them as often as you'd like. I think the next few steps are about collaboration, so I'll let you read those on your own. You'll know a little bit of discussion about the quizzes there. The quizzes will be unannounced, and we don't give makeup quizzes. Rest assured, though, we'll have so many quizzes that if you miss one due to someday you really can't attend, say you're interviewing for a job or get sick or something like that, it won't be the end of the world. It'll be a very small fraction of your grade, and you just keep on plowing forward and you'll be in good shape. We do enforce the ME calculator policy, which means we don't allow graphing calculators or communicating calculators on exams, so that's something to keep in mind. To help you, in addition to my office hours, the blog, and all the other tools that we provide, we're going to staff the mechanics tutorial room in the Gatewood wing. It's up there on the second floor for almost 50 hours a week, and so they'll be staffed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from a nice time in the morning till early evening. We'll be open a little bit later on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, the nights before homework are due. And we've added some Sunday hours as well this semester, so that if you want some help over the weekend, you can get that as well. I should note here I reserve the right to change the policies on the syllabus if we have a campus emergency or long-term adverse weather. I hope we have neither this semester, but we do reserve that right. We should note that because this class has so many electronic components, I can take this course totally electronic and literally a flip of a switch if we need to. And so if something were to happen, we'll just go to a completely electronic format. We won't meet in class, but we can keep everything alive as we go along. Just a final note here before I talk briefly about emergency preparedness. I'm super serious about distraction-free environments for learning. Study after study have shown that students that don't use things like electronic devices in class, laptops, etc., really retain more information from the lecture. And we're going to do a lot of activities over the course of the semester in groups, etc., so that you'll have lots of time to talk, interact, etc. So I'm just going to ask that when you step into the classroom, you turn those cell phones and laptops off and really focus on dynamics. And I know that may seem a bit pie in the sky, but what I'm really trying to encourage you here is this, amongst all other topics, perhaps in your mechanical engineering curriculum, is essential to being a good practicing engineer. And I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. There are certainly classes, I won't say which ones, I don't want to get in trouble with my fellow instructors, but there are classes that are not as important to your future career. This one is one that truly is, and so I need you paying attention, focused, and doing the best you can. There's also a few apps out there if you need some encouragement to do this, that can provide you coupons and free food and things like that if you lock your phone during class and keep it locked. So that might be something to think about too. Maybe you can get a free dilly bar from Dairy Queen, or a sandwich or pizza from Hotbox, or something fun like that. I have included here, just for your sake, the emergency preparedness thing. I'm going to let you go through this on your own accord, but just note that if there is a campus emergency, we're going to follow this, and I hope you do take the time to read it. If we're going to have a weather or tornado-related emergency, we'll just head down to the basement, which will be a relatively straightforward thing to do. And if we unfortunately have to deal with a civil disturbance or an active shooter situation, we're going to go ahead and seek shelter here in the classroom. And it tells you here how we're going to do that. So please take advantage of this. And one thing I might encourage you to do if you're not already is to sign up for the Purdue Emergency Alert Text System. It's a really great way to find out what's going around on campus, whether it be a warning or a serious situation. And I just encourage you to take advantage of that if you haven't already. Alright, so I think that covers most of the policies, etc. in class. You can read this on your own accord, but we've officially gone over that, so we can check that box. If I go back to the blog, just going to show you a few other things here. We do have the syllabus posted, so you can see what we're going to do on a daily basis here. And one of the things that you'll note is that we're going to have the homework assigned every day. So I've listed that there on the right-hand side. Again, Wednesday, we're going to have that fundamentals exam that I talked about a little earlier, so we won't have homework due that day. So the homework which is assigned today, homework 1, will actually be due Friday. Homework 0, that picture we talked about, will actually be due on Wednesday, so that's what we'll have in the intermediate time. You'll note that we'll have a few different days with no class due to university holidays. That includes Labor Day, October break, and then the Thanksgiving break. And we'll have 3 exams situated, I think the first one on September 27th, later then on October 18th, all of which are located in Matthew Hall 210. The first 2 are from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., and I think the last one is from 8 to 9. On this, you can also see the rough breakdown of topics we're going to cover in this class. The first part of the class is really going to cover kinematics, that is the kind of mathematical descriptions of motion, so position, velocity, acceleration. Then we're going to switch to kinetics, which you can think of as Newton's second law and its integral forms of work energy and linear impulse and angular impulse momentum. And then we're actually going to spend the last third of the class talking about mechanical vibration. A lot of universities have a complete vibrations class. We just include it in the back end of the dynamics class because I know you're much smarter than most of the other engineering students out there, including those at IU. If you said IU sucks, it's okay. I won't tell anyone. Alright, just a few other things here. Homework format. Basically, there's a brief cover page on this document that tells you a little bit about the class. I think I've said most of these things already, so we won't belabor it. But the format we'll use, I'd encourage you to use something like engineering paper, which is easy to scan. Put the date, problem number, and your name on top. But then make sure you're using this give and find solution format. I'm not going to belabor this. I'm going to expect you to use it on your 274 homework. I think it's very similar to this format that you used in ME 270, so just please make sure you're following this to assist with our grading approach. And then finally, I'll just talk a little bit about blog points. There is an ability for extra credit right from day one of this course, and that's from using the course blog, the site we were at effectively. And there, in particular, you can leverage 10 homework bonus points from this class by following one of two approaches that I've listed here. And so please do read this on your own accord. This is a great way to cover up for one homework assignment that perhaps you missed due to illness or something like that during the course of the semester. Or perhaps even just a way to get a little boost in your grades. So please read this on your own accord. Okay, with that, I think I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the course blog, and then we'll call it quits here. Discuss Gradescope, this grading system we're going to use for a few minutes, and then finally we'll get into actual lecture content. So I think most of you are familiar with the notion of a blog. This is going to be a forum where we can communicate with each other. And in a few hours here, I'm going to go ahead and put up different blog thread starters here so you can talk with each other. You can log into this site on the left-hand side using your Purdue Career account. And once you do that, you'll have the ability to post and comment and interact with each other as you traditionally would. So this is going to be a great forum for you, for example, to discuss how to do various homework problems and things like that. So if you have a question, you can talk with each other. Every once in a while, I'll jump in and say a few things. So this is a great place to share information, ask questions, at 3 in the morning of me or someone else, and you might even get a response. So this is going to be a great site for that. You'll notice this is also the site you'll turn in homework, so we have a Gradescope link up at the top left corner there. You're welcome to click that and use that for a homework solution path, or submission path, I should say. And there's also some additional information about how to use Gradescope from the Gradescope link here on the blog, so you can read these, watch these corresponding videos, etc. As I said, the lecture book that you have, or hopefully have, or will have soon, has all of the lecture example videos recorded in it. And so if you click the lecture example link here, you'll see every single example in this book. I think there's a couple hundred of them are linked here on the blog. And if you just click one of these links, you'll be rerouted to a YouTube video that has myself or Professor Krausgirl actually solving these videos for you. And so here you can see me working through it. And if I fast forward in the video here a little bit, you'll see that we'll just add the work to the page. And so you can have a step-by-step procedure here to see how to do these various things. So great resource to have in your back pocket. Also on the blog are some things like visualizing mechanics videos. These are videos of us doing experiments that are related to dynamics, and you can watch these of your own accord. We have, I think, 17 or 18 of them here, maybe even more. Where you can see simple experiments being done associated with the class. Your homework assignments will be available under the homework link. There's going to be PDFs there. For example, if we click on Chapter 1 homework here, you'll see a PDF that contains the first 2 homework problems, which will be the 2 that are due on Friday. And so if you pan here down, you will see, as we get to the 3rd page, sorry for the slow pan, that we'll have various problems here, a given find. A lot of the problems will have symbolic statements to start, but will require numerical answers, and so you can work through those. Once we've collected a homework assignment, we will post video solutions. Those will appear on the homework solutions page, and you'll be able to click, and much like the lecture example videos, see a step-by-step example of us working them out. As we approach exam time, I'll go ahead and include information about exams, for example, the equation sheets you can use, maybe some sample exams, etc. here. And just to round off what's on the blog, we also have some animations here that dive deeper and are slightly interactive in some of the various topics we'll cover in class. So I encourage you to look at these. Professor Krausgirl has recently updated these, and I think they're a really nice addition to the Dynamics course. So long story short, the blog is kind of the hub of all activity in the class. It's going to complement lecture. It's going to complement every other thing that we do. And so I encourage you to go on it on a near daily basis and check out, see what's happening there. Okay, so I think we covered the 4 documents that we've had in class. I've given you a little bit of a tour of the course blog, so I think with that I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the ladies and gentlemen that are running the class there today for you, who are going to tell you a little bit about our Gradescope submission process. And once they've wrapped up with that, I'll bounce back for a few minutes and cover the first technical topic in the class. Alright, so signing off for now. I'll be back with you shortly. Take care.